how good are lamb shanks in the middle of winter? I love to slow cook them in a rich gravy, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. But taking it even further, because I'm going to use this lovely meat to make a shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie with a bit of an Irish twist, because instead of classic mash on top of this pie, I'm going to turn it into a champ. I love these flavours together. So what I've been doing is searing off these lamb shanks. You can see how much colour. This has taken about 10 to 15 minutes. The more colour you get on your lamb shanks, the more flavour we're going to impart in the gravy. So we'll just pop them to one side, and then we can add our vegetables. You can see there's still a little bit of that lamb fat in there, which is flavour. So in with some onions, along with some carrot, and I've just chopped them into the same size. I'm going to add a good crack of pepper, and we just want to saute them off until they're lovely and soft. While they're cooking, I'll chop some garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. We'll just bruise them, and then we can add them. Now, if you like, you could add other vegetables like celery to the base of this. I'm very happy with just the onion, the garlic and the carrot, because loads of flavour is going to come from some tomato paste, Worcestershire sauce and our stock. So in with our garlic. I'll give that a stir. And again, just be patient at this time. We want to cook this down for about 5 to 10 minutes until they're lightly caramelised and softened. All right, we've got some good colour on our veggies, so now we can add our tomato paste. It's not only for flavour, but it's also going to help thicken our sauce slightly. And always, when you're using tomato paste, do cook it off just for a few seconds before adding the Worcestershire sauce. A little splash of that. Give that a stir. And herb of choice is thyme, but rosemary also works really well with lamb shanks. And I'm just going to pick off all the leaves. Saves me getting the stalks out later on. And it smells so good as it hits the heat. Fantastic. So you want at least 6 or 7 stalks of the thyme. And we'll give that another stir. And now time for the liquid. I'm using some beef stock. You'll need 1 litre of beef stock. This one has a really nice savoury flavour to it. It's perfectly seasoned, so you don't need to add any salt whatsoever to the dish. And it may look like quite a lot of liquid at this stage, but this is going to cook low and slow in the oven, and all of that liquid is going to slowly evaporate, leaving us with a lovely sauce. Okay, now we can return our gorgeous lamb shanks. We'll just give them a little stock bath. And this now goes into the oven cover. Now be sure to use a saute pan that is not only stovetop safe but also oven safe. I've preheated my oven to 160 degrees, and these are going to cook for about 2 hours or 2.5 hours, or until that meat is super tender and falling off the bone. Okay, while the lamb shanks were cooking, I also cooked my potatoes. So this is just 1 kilo of potatoes. I placed them in some cold water, brought them up to the boil, and they cooked for 20 minutes until tender. Now, in order to get really good mash, make sure you strain them and just allow all of that steam to dissipate. By doing that, we're getting as much moisture out of the potatoes as possible. So I'm just going to let them steam there for a moment while we have a look at our lovely lamb shanks. Lid off. Oh, and that smell is just sensational. You want to grab yourself 2 forks, and the meat should just fall apart. Yep. That's what we're after, meltingly tender. So I'll take the meat away. The bones have done their job. We'll just remove them and continue to shred the meat. And when you're shredding, just make sure you don't shred it too fine. I love the big chunks of lamb, so just break it up, just so they're bite-sized pieces, just like that. Oh, looking good. Take that last little bone out and just give that one last mix just to fold through that lamb meat. Look at that, fantastic. I'll now transfer this over to a dish that's going to go into the oven. I'll place that there and we'll pour this in. Okay, use your fork just to spread all of that out. And I like to use this decorative dish because it's going to look so lovely on the table after it comes out of the oven in the second bake. So that can sit there for a moment while we get onto our mash. We'll grab a masher and give that a really good mash. Trying to get as many lumps out as possible. Give that a mix. And now we can add some butter. And I'm adding lots of butter to this. I'll transfer over to a wooden spoon and we can start whipping this mash. Need a bit of elbow grease here to work it. I want this mash to be extra rich, so I like the addition of some thickened cream. You could also use some milk if you like. So a drizzle of that in there. Another stir. My dearest Irish friend Colin always insists, if I'm going to make a champ, to add some white pepper. So a good pinch of white pepper for him. Another little stir. I'll also season it with some salt. And now for our spring onions. Now the difference between a champ and a cold cannon, which is another type of Irish mash, is that champ only has spring onions, where a cold cannon also has some cabbage through it. And be generous with your spring onions. I'm adding at least 4 to 5 spring onions. And you don't need to chop these super fine. I like the texture of the spring onions in this champ. We'll use up absolutely everything. In it goes. Sprinkle that in. And the last addition is going to be an egg yolk, and this is just going to bind it nicely and allow it to set as it bakes in the oven for the second time. So we just need the egg yolk. Separate that. In that goes. And we'll give it another really good whip, combining all of that together. All right, happy with that. I'm going to use a spatula now to just dollop all of this lovely mash over the top. So little dollops everywhere, and then we can spread it out. And then it goes back into the oven, hot oven this time, 220 degrees until it's golden brown. Well, I'm super happy with the results. How stunning is that? Evenly caramelized on the top. It's bubbled away on the side just right. Do allow it to cool slightly before eating this because it's going to be piping hot. It's also nice just to settle any type of pie like this. And let's scoop this out. Super saucy lamb shank stew on the bottom. Get a few spoonfuls of that lovely gravy that we've created. And that right there is a real treat. This is a recipe that you're going to want to save and you'll be making over and over again in winter because it's decadent, it's Moorish. It's a fantastic recipe that you can eat half and put the rest in the freezer because it reheats and thaws really well. I'm going to have a taste. That's just like a gorgeous warm hug. I love all the flavours here, particularly love the Irish twist with the champ on top. Enjoy.